Hi, welcome back to the channel. Now I've been making a bit of a start on the Interceptor, so I was going to modify it more that suited me, sort of thing. Can't say it's going too well. I've been waiting and waiting and waiting for either handmade exhaust made other side of the world. Finally arrived. I have got a small clip that I sent the guy who made it for me. I'll put that up. It looked nice, just didn't fit the bike. It was nowhere near. There's so many things wrong with it. The right hand side of the bike, it was more or less on. The left hand side, it just no chance. Downpipes was wrong angle, didn't fit into the cylinder head. Oh, I'm not going to say too much for it. I'll join the clip that I sent him pointing out where it doesn't fit and problems, but I'm not going to name the bloke. I'm trying to get a refund anyway. And the problem with the refund is the postage for the exhaust was as much as the exhaust, and the bloke only wants to refund me for the exhaust. Yeah, I paid him for the exhaust and for the postage. So we're in a bit of an argument about that at the moment, but that's what's been holding me back. Got the exhaust, it arrived last night. I've started to fit it and run into a few problems with it. First problem, the shoulder on here, this, won't go in to where the cylinder head is. What happens is, this is really too short, it should have been longer. But because it's not, this hits the casting where the studs with the threads are on, hitting it just on the edge of here. What I've done on the first one, I've got a Dremel, and I've had to broaden the chamfer on here in two places so it goes in. But till I get it finished and started up, I don't even know if it's flat or it's like this. You know, it's just so tight. Secondly, the holes in these brackets don't go over the threads. They're too wide. And I had to get a Dremel again and sort of slot it either side for them to fit over the thread, else they just won't go on. Between them, they're about half a thread out, so there's no chance of them going on. That's the first problem. So I got the first pipe on in place. I've got the second one slid on, and I cannot get this silencer to fit right. Even I've slacked the bolts off so I can move the pipe about. I'll show you what the problem is. Alright, first the problem is the mounting hole, which is where my finger is. As you can see, the only way I can get it out is pull this pipe. Can you hold that camera there, Sue? You got it?
Yep.
It sort of lines up there, but this pipe is running outwards so far. Plus, there's no spacer in the kit. I mean, look out the gap that is. There's no longer bolt with it. Also, the bracket is tight up against the frame, and when it lines up, the actual brake lever, it's the top of the bracket here. Have you got all that on the camera, do you think?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, this, when that's lined up, the brake is this in this bracket, but it's pulling the pipe out too far, which is, it looks rubbish, that does. What it should have been, this pipe, can you see this pipe? So this pipe should have been longer and this bend come up more, so this was sort of following at that angle. The other thing you've done, that's the way the pipe fits on with the bracket on the inside. As you can notice, there's no writing on that, is there? Turn it round, your writing's on the inside, and also it's upside down. If I turn it round, we're now looking at the inside of the pipe where the bracket is. That writing should have been over here. But
the bracket is actually hitting this part of the frame here before it lines up with this, and it will not line up with this. The only way it'll line up is if this pipe is pulled way out. And I don't know, the bracket's not quite right, or well, something's not right. It just will not fit. It's no good like this at all. When it's on and it looks in line, it's stuck out at an angle. It's way too far, and it's all right like that. That's what it should look like. It's pointing upwards. That's not so bad. But when the bracket lines up with the bolt hole in there, this is sort of hanging down like that. You can see the pipe going up and the silencer's not going up at the same angle. So I know it's maybe a bit difficult for you to see this, but it's the only way we could do it. Try to send you a small video. Have a look at it, get back to me and tell me what you think. I thought, well, I've got to make a start on it. Autumn's here. You know, you wouldn't believe it outside at the minute. Typical Bulgaria, this is. It was this morning, it was absolutely freezing. Car was covered in ice, and now it's beautiful. I'll give you a bit of a quick rundown on what I was going to do to it. So as you can see, it's in bits at the minute and wiring everywhere and what have you. Right. Now, my plan for it is, well, was, I'm going to have to alter my plans a bit slightly. My handlebars, I've got, from Hitchcock's, I've got a proper clamp that fits over the top of here. It's going to tidy that up. This switchgear mirrors, they were just put on because I didn't have nothing else at the time and it didn't come with mirrors. The wiring for the switchgear, which I've got on the bench. Let's have a look. Yep, that'll be the new switchgear for here, which is going to be very minimal. That's actually going to run inside the bars and it'll drop out here at the bottom. You won't see no wiring on these bars. There won't be any wiring at all on this side. No kill switch. The starter switch is just going to be a button, which is going to be mounted down here somewhere where you can't see it. So it's going to give me nice clean lines. Got some nice black mirrors coming for this because most of this is going to be black. The bars obviously stay in chrome. This is black. Switchgear is black. I've got a single throttle. It's on the bench. Couldn't remember where I put it. TC Brothers from the States. Very nice looking. It's just single cable, this is. Let's just slide it on for you. Like so. So it'll fit like this. It just have the one. It's got the one cable running out to the throttle body. So it'll only be this. What you can see here with the decent mirror on. Just keeping it clean lines. So I don't want any switches or clutter or anything on it. The clocks was coming off, which I spent all day yesterday working on. Fucking nightmare. Just before I go much further, let's have a look. Where's some of the pictures? Oh yeah. I used to build chops, trikes, all this sort of stuff. These are some pictures on the walls here. Bikes of, I don't know if you can see that. Bikes are built. Nice Harley there. That was an ex-American police bike before I started FXR. Let's have a look over here. It's got bloody bikes in the way here. I can't see anything. Alright, that's Harley here, show winning bike this. Big S&S engine in it. I made the frame, absolutely everything on this bike. It was my own bike while somebody offered me money I couldn't refuse for it, so I had to go. That's have a look. Sun's getting on this. Oh, there we go. Another one I built is a VTX 1300. So when you said my own bike business in the UK,
Yeah, there you are. That's a clipping out of a custom bike magazine. That's a Harley Davidson trike I built for Sue. That was Sue's own bike, that was. 1340 FXR. Real nice. We had a thing in the magazine that was done. You know, it's been to bills and all sorts. And obviously I built loads of custom stuff for other people. So I want to apply a little bit of what I know into the Interceptor. That's why I'm going with clean look bars. I was going for little single speedo. But back to the bike, it's caused me loads of grief. I'll show you the speedo. It's Ace Wells, which I've used loads of times, these people, on different bikes, different versions. As you can see, they come with a fair bit of wiring themselves. That's the speedo. Now, that's what I was going to have on this. Is indicators, main beam, engine management, your power in, oil, neutral, fuel gauge, rev counter, speedo. Well, that was going to sit, if you compare that with the clocks, there's a huge difference. And then I was going to have these, just got these from Tech brackets in the UK, very nice, really nice quality these. It's going to have a small black headlight in here, which I got, that turned up. It was left for me and I just chucked it in the bin. It was horrendous. Looked like it'd been handmade, hand beaten, and left all the hammer marks in it. Now I'm fussy if things aren't perfect. It just pisses me off. Now, my biggest problem I've had with this speedo, I spent all day yesterday trying to wire this in, is the speedo itself comes with its own wiring diagram, which I've got here in the paperwork, which is, you know, as long as you know about wiring, which I do, it isn't much of a problem. But the problem is the speedo wiring is designed to wire into, like if I was building a custom bike, a chop up or a bobber, where I'm starting from scratch, you could wire this in a doddle. The problem is with this is I've got to integrate some of the original wiring, and to get everything to work, well, I can't. It just does not work. I got it yesterday, so wired in what I could, tried different ways around of working it, and I get it so the engine runs, oil light, indicators, the basic stuff, ignition and what have you. Now, as the clock has its own speedo sensor, which you put on the wheel down here. Well, because this bike's got ABS, I can't use that unless I want two sensors on it, which I don't, because I want to keep the wiring to a minimum. One of the biggest problems I got is you can't get no Haynes manual for this, so I can't get any proper, as I call proper, wiring diagrams. Now, I went on the internet and there's loads, even online manual for this, but the problem is this is what you can print off. I tried enlarging it and all sorts, but the problem, even using a magnifying glass, the problem is the wording, even on here, I bet you can't see it. That's what it looks like. Some bits I can see, a lot I can't. Is when you try to blow the wiring diagram up so I can stand half a chance of looking at it, it just becomes, well, the words aren't even clear, it just becomes a blur. I've tried loads. I did find somebody in the States who'd pulled off the instrument cluster, which is your clocks, and this was quite useful, but it was only when I started looking at this, it's like here, this is your instrument cluster, and these are some of the wires that's associated with the clocks. Crankshaft sensor actually runs into the rev counter side of it on here, but there it doesn't show you what the wires are doing, and there's quite a few other sensors that run through the clocks, then run back to the ECU. Here, they use the revs on the clock, the speed on the speedo, which this, I just cannot get it integrated into the new clock, because it's not like the new clock is like, if you like, wires from the clock to something. on here, it's wires from the clocks to the ECU, back from the ECU to a sensor, from the sensor back into the clocks. This is why there's this mass load of wires. This is the main wiring harness. This is here coming through to the clocks. There's nothing fancy on this bike as such. It's just how it does. It's like, I sort of like this because it ain't got TFT or none of the bullshit crap you get on the new ones. Sorry you lads that like it all, but I'm not a big fan. But it's surprising how much of the wiring is doing the same things, if you like, but you just can't see it from the outside. But it's worked out. I cannot get their new clocks working here, not properly. I managed to get the bike started and running. I couldn't even get the rev counter in properly. As soon as I wired up what was the rev counter on here into that, you got like oil light flashing and all sorts of things working, and like you got a bad earth, the dash started to go on and off. There's all sorts of different things, and you think you sorted something out. It's like the neutral light. Went to check that. You click on it, neutral light goes out and it brings other lights on. And I say I'm pretty good at wiring and whatnot. It'd be better for me if I got a decent wiring diagram that I could read. I'm trying to follow the wires and like, no, you got things like this here, which are just bulbs and stuff like this. You follow the wire and it's coming out of here, it's going into the ECU, it's coming back again and into something else, into the switch gear. Without being able to read the words, I just can't do it. I give up. So plan 2. It looks like the stock clocks are going to have to stop on, but they will look very, very stupid with a small black headlight. Now, I've got a headlight here that I did buy when I first bought this. I was going to put this on, but then I changed my mind. Let's have a look at this. This is from the UK. It's quite narrow, very narrow compared to the stock one. LED, completely chrome. So that's going to fit in here when I get sorted. And this is all a change of plan from yesterday. So that bit's not been going well. What else we had? Oh yeah, raw and rugged. I did do a video on this stuff, the bags coming. Now these had elastics on the back that fixed to the fiberglass side panel, which I didn't like. So we bought 2 side panels, steel, from India, and they turned up and he sent me 2 left-hand ones. So Sue sent him an email, very apologetic, send them back. So we said, well, we weren't paying for the postage. You know, you sent the wrong items. No, I'll just refund you for the side panels. So yet again, it's going to cost us double. So I've got a set of a box here with 2 left-hand side panels. So there's not a lot I can do about it either. So we ordered some from a place called BAK, B-A-A-K. There they are. They come as just raw aluminium that pressed out of, and I sprayed them up black, and then I drilled the bags, drilled the panels, and the bags are bolted direct to the panels, which good and solid. This one now has my tool kitting because it fits on the other side. Here's the other one. Oh, I mean, absolutely solid. They're not going to flop about or lose the shape. Fits lovely. I'd highly recommend BAKs. They're not cheap, by no means, but pay for what you get, don't you? It works perfect. Now what else we done? Oh yeah, at the moment I put my stock pipes back on. They just sat in the bike, bolted back in just to stop any crap getting in the engine basically. Plus, you know, when I was doing the wiring I have to keep firing it up, so it's at least got the downpipes on. The way of thinking now is I might leave the stock downpipes on because I know what the bullet's like. No, it's the Enfield, Himalayan. In the hot weather we got here in Bulgaria, it absolutely burns my right hand leg. Now I did ride this a few times in the summer, and the double skin the front pipes. I know you lose a bit of performance with them because it's a smaller bore, but it doesn't bother me that. But it doesn't chuck so much heat off. This is why when you look at them, they're still nice and shiny. They're not gone blue, yellow, because they're not single skinned. So I'm thinking for myself that I might leave those on. And I've seen some, I've been looking at all the silencers, and it doesn't seem to matter who makes them, what brand they are. They're all the same. They look pretty similar to the stock and too long. I wanted something a bit shorter. I've seen a pair of silencers and I've seen them on a bike in a video and it sounds awesome. And instead of them coming off here like the originals and coming to the back of the wheel, back here, I think they come to here, about there, a lot shorter. But they come up like this and then, yeah, they come up at an angle like that and then they come out at another angle here and they're quite wide. Thinking about getting a set of those, but we're just seeing what happens with the originals first, because these ones I like are in Thailand. Just always a bit worried now, isn't it? I've had so much stuff come, it's either no good, doesn't fit, and it's surprising how much money you lose just for sending stuff back. I don't really understand how people can get away with not paying your postage. You know, you bought the goods, you paid the postage, they've sent it. You know, if it's just something I didn't want, that's fair enough. But when it don't fit or it's damaged or something, that's not my problem really, is it? Especially if it doesn't fit. But anyway, that's by the by. It's just how things go nowadays, isn't it? Right, well, just a quick update. I'm not doing a video on the jobs of how to do it because most of it is wiring. Well, it'd be bore you to tears and you just not see anything. I'll just keep you updated as I go along with it and let you know how it's going. I think it's going to look good enough. I don't want to go all out custom. I did think about that, even cutting the frame and what have you. But I want to keep this bike as well, so Sue can come on the back. So it's a light custom, if you want to call it that. So it's still usable and still comfortable for Sue to come on with me. So you can't alter it too much, or she'll not come out with me on it. So we'll just see how we go on with it, like, you know. Still got the Bullet, still got the Himalayan. I will keep getting out when I can now, but we've got ice already in the morning and that's just changed in a week. So once it starts, it'll just get colder and colder and colder. And even on days where, like now, the skies are blue, the sun's out, the roads will be like a skating ring. So you've got to be a bit careful. Plus as we get older, we don't bounce very good, do we? Right, well, probably see you in the next video again, I think. So big thumbs up. Please subscribe, helps me with the channel. Any questions down below. If anybody knows where I can get a proper wiring diagram for this, a 2020 Interceptor, one that you can not only see the wires but see the words. No, I printed off a full wiring diagram and you couldn't see anything. See all the wires, but you just couldn't tell what was going where. Plus a lot of the ones on the internet are not a full wiring diagram. There might be a quarter wiring diagram showing the clock area, then another one showing the ignition area, and then they've got a point where there's a plug, a line of plugs along the bottom, and the wires just go down into it, and that's the end of it. And they've got no word, you don't know what wires is which, it's impossible really. Anyway, I'll see you again then, right? Cheers.